Hi students, a warm welcome to the video lecture on digital logic. So in our last two video lectures we have discussed what actually the computer is, what is the characteristics of computer, and today's class we are going to discuss the basic organization of a computer. So whenever we are talking about the basic organization of computer, some components are coming into our mind like keyboard, mouse, the CPU, then the monitor, the cameras. So we are not going to talk about them. We are going to talk about the computer organization. That means what are the operational units or what are the functional units are there in case of computer, and how those functional units are integrated together to make a work successful. So if you remember what actually the computer is an electromechanical device which enables us to give some input as data. Then it can process those data to make some or to add some meaning to those data. Then what the computer will give to us, that is the output in form of information. Then if we want to save those informations, the processed or the raw data, we can store them into the storage unit of a computer. So what actually our computer is doing? Our computer takes input from us, that is data. Then the computer will process the data to give us the output as information. So let's see what actually the functions of a computer. From the definition you can guess what is the function or what is the work of a computer. But let's see what are the functional units or what is the basic functions of a computer. So coming to the functions of computer, the first function is inputting. So we have already discussed the definition of the computer is the computer enables us to enter some data. Without the data, the computer cannot process. So the process of entering data and instruction, here just mark these two words, that is data and instruction. The process of entering data and instruction into the computer system is known as inputting. So what actually that means, data and instruction? So whenever we are giving some data, like I want the result of 50 multiplied by 5. So what actually I want? I want to multiply 50 with 5. So the data are here 50 and 5. Then what actually I want to do? I want to do the multiplication. If I am saying you that what is the output of 50 and 5? Are you understand anything? No, because I am saying what is the output of 50 and 5. Where is the instruction? What actually I want? I want the multiplication. That means I need to say you that what is the output of 50 multiplication of 5. So that multiplication is instruction. So in case of computer also, whenever we want to retrieve the output, that is 50 multiplied by 5, we need to give the computer the instruction as multiplication. And what are the data? The data are 50 and 5. If you remember, there is a characteristic, that is accuracy. That means the computer will give us the result accurate. So there I have already told you that we need to instruct the computer in which sequence, in which manner the computer is going to work. That instruction or that sequence of manners should be given by the instructor or the programmer to the computer. Computer cannot take its own judgment. Computer cannot take any decision by its own. The computer is always depends on the programmer or the instructor. We developed or we invented the computer for what? Because if we take 10 minutes of time or 5 minutes of time to multiply 220 digits of number, but we want to multiply or we want to get the result of 220 digits of number in a second. That's why we developed the computer. The computer is actually making our job very fast. So we need to instruct the computer in a precise manner. Without our instruction, the computer cannot do any work. So we need to give some data and we need to give some instruction to the computer. The process of giving the data and the instruction to the computer is known as inputting. Then how we are giving the data and instruction to the computer? Through the input device. So what are the input devices? The basic input device is keyboard. When we are pressing something, take the example of calculator. Calculator is also a computing device. Whatever the number or whatever the instruction we gave to the calculator will give us the result in a fraction of a second. So calculator is a computational device, if you can say. So in case of calculator also, when we press 5, that means 5 is get inputted to the calculator. So in case of computer also, whenever any 5 or any 3, any number, any digit, any multiple characters, whatever we press from the keyboard, that is going to the computer's memory. So that is inputting. So keyboard is the inputting device. Next, other inputting device are what? Like your mouse. Mouse is also your input device. So whenever we are moving to the cursor, if we move a cursor to a folder, when we right click on that, then there are some menus that will display. So that is also the computer is getting input as a cursor. Whenever we double click on that folder, the folder will get open. So that is also input. The computer receives the instruction that double click means to open a folder. So that is also input device. So now I am making this video by using a microphone. That means my voice is get captured by the microphone. So that is the input device. The camera, where we can take photos, where we can make some videos. So that is also inputting device. We are giving the inputs to the computer as photos, as videos. So those are the inputting device. By the help of the inputting device like your keyboard, your mouse, your camera, your scanner is also an inputting device. There we can scan our documents, we can scan any PDF files. So those PDFs and those documents will get stored in the computer's memory. So that is the inputting device. By the help of the input device, what we can do, we can give some data and instruction to the computer. So that process of giving data and instruction to the computer is known as inputting. The next function of the computer is storing. So what actually that storing means? The storing means saving data and instruction to make them readily available for initial or additional processing whenever required. So what actually that means? That means we are going to save the data and the instruction to make them readily available for initial or additional processing. So what actually that means? Initial and additional processing. So initial processing means we are giving the input as 5 plus 3. 5 is your data, 3 is also your data, plus is the instruction. There you can get the output as 8. So we are giving the input 5 plus 3, the input is readily available and the computer will do some initial processing and gives us the result as 8. Additional processing means what? We are saving our photos, our videos inside the computer memory. After 5 years, 10 years, 15 days, 30 days, we are going to retrieve those images. That is additional processing. Like that, if you are in now first semester, you get some result, you will appear your first semester exam and you will get some result. So that will be stored in the computer memory for the final certificate. When you will be at 6th semester, after giving the 6th semester examination, then we need your first semester examination mark to calculate the mark sheet or to give you the certificates. There we need your first semester mark, second semester mark. That means there we need to store your first semester, second semester up to 5th semester mark sheet in our computer. In any case, if you lost your certificate and mark sheet, after 5 years you can also get your mark sheet and certificate that are stored in the computer's memory. So that is the storage. The process of storing something, that may be the data, that may be the instruction, that may be some information also. After getting the result, if I want to store those information in my computer, also I can go for that. I can store them into my computer memory. So the process of storing the data and instruction into the computer's memory is called as storing. The third is processing. Why we need processing? Because without the processing, we cannot say computer is doing something. If our computer is on off state, we are pressing the keyboard. What actually will happen? Is the computer is going to take any input? My computer is in off state. I am pressing the 5, the key 5. Is my computer is going to take the 5 as input? No. The computer is in off state. So we need to process the data. There is a control unit. Processing means what? There are two units, arithmetic logic unit and a control unit. So inside the arithmetic logic unit, what actually happens? They can perform arithmetic operations or logical operations on data to convert them into useful information. So mark these words: performing arithmetic operations or logical operations. So what exactly the important point here? The important point here, to convert the data into some useful information. So when we talked about the data and the information, there we talked that data has no meaning. By adding some meaning to the data, we can call that as the information. So where we are going to add the meaning to the data? That is inside the central processing unit. The work of the central processing unit, or the process of adding some meaning to the data to convert it into some useful information, is known as processing. There we are manipulating our data. What I gave the example, 5 multiplied with 3. So data are what? 5 and 3. Instruction is what? Multiplication. The information is what? 5 multiplication 3 is 50. So what actually I am saying? I am saying that when we are going to add some meaning to the data, the process is known as processing. So how we can add some meaning, or how we can convert the data into information? That is by doing some arithmetic operation and some logical operation. So arithmetic operation, you know, that is addition operation, your subtraction operation, your multiplication operation, your division operation, and your modulus operation, and all those are arithmetic operation. So the logical operator means to compare something. If you obtain 25 in case of your digital logic practical, and another student obtained 26, then how you can compare? You are using the less than operator, the greater than operator, the equals to operator. Then you can say he obtained a 1 mark greater than to me. So those are the logical operators. So we are using some arithmetic operations and some logical operations to convert the data into some meaningful information, or to add some meaning to the data. So that actually is done by the arithmetic logic unit, that is ALU, which is a part of a central processing unit. The next functions of the computer is to output. So what we have till now discussed, we have discussed the first one is inputting, the second one is storing, the third one is processing. So remind the definition of the computer. The computer is going to get some input as data, that is inputting. The computer is going to store the inputted data, that is storing. The computer is going to process the data, that is processing. The fourth stage is after processing data, after adding some meaning to the data, the computer is going to give us information, that is outputting. So the fourth functions of a computer is outputting. So what actually outputting means? The outputting means the process of producing useful information or result for the user, such as printed report or visually display. So what it's saying? It's saying the process of producing useful information. How it will produce useful information? By adding some meaning to the data, by adding some context to the data. The data is raw. By adding some context, by adding some meaning, the computer will produce a useful information, and that can be in two forms. One is visually display, another is you can make some printout of those output. Like when you are going to search the book of digital logic, the Chrome will return you a PDF file. You can make that printout. So whenever you are going to retrieve your first semester result, that you can see it, that is a visually display. You can make the screenshot, that is visually display actually. Whenever you are going to make a printout of your first semester result, that is printed form. So there are two options. You can visually display, that will be display in case of your monitor, in case of a computer screen, and you can also go for making a printout of that output. So that actually outputting. So remember, outputting means the process of producing some useful information by adding some context to the data, and that addition of the context to the data will be done by the processing unit or by the arithmetic logic unit. Then what actually the fifth function? Here we have already discussed, and you can compare these four functions with the computer definition. Then what left? There is nothing left, but yes, one thing is left, that is controlling. How the computer will know the keyboard is ready or the memory is now free, you can, or computer is now capable of taking some input. How the computer will know when it is going to process something, or how the computer will know when to give some output or to give some information? That is actually done by the control unit. So the central processing unit has two parts. One is control unit, that actually controls everything. How the input is taken by the computer, how the computer is processing the data, how the computer is going to give the result. So all these things are managed by the control unit. And the second part is arithmetic logic unit, what we have just seen now. So the control unit directing the manner and the sequence in which all of the above operation are performed. So what is the operation? We have already discussed the inputting, the storing, the processing and the outputting. These operations are going to control by a code unit, that is controlling. So these are the functions of the computer. So now we are going to see what is the basic organization of a computer, how these functions are going to do. Now let's see what is the basic organization. So we have already discussed the functions of the computer. So let's see the von Neumann architecture or the von Neumann model. The von Neumann have invented a model. The computer generation has been changed. First we have the abacus, then we have the modern computers now, we have supercomputers now. Whatever the computer generation may be, there is a basic organization of a computer. Each and every computer is going to do same work. So what is the basic organization? Let's see the diagram. In our next class, we will discuss each and individual units of the computer very briefly. Today we are only going to see what actually the basic organization, how the functional units are getting integrated together to make a computer as a system. So let's see. So this is basic organization you can encounter with the von Neumann model of a computer system or the functional units of a computer system. Whatever the question may be, you can put this diagram to your exam. So this is the basic organization. So the first function of the computer is inputting. So you can see there are two types of line. One is your solid line that indicates the flow of instruction and data. Another is the dotted line that indicates the control exercised by the control unit. So the first functions of the computer is inputting. So by this input unit we are giving the computer the instruction and the data. So when we are giving multiple instruction or set of instruction, that will be referred as program. So the program and data will be given to the computer by using this input unit. Then what actually we have seen? We have seen that here the inputting means what? The process of entering data, and storing means saving data and instruction. So there we need to feed the program and data to the storage unit. So this is our storage unit. Like the central processing unit has two parts, control unit and ALU, the storage unit is also has two parts, that is secondary storage and primary storage. We are going to discuss the secondary storage and the primary storage in our next class, when we will discuss each and individual functional units of a computer. So you just remember the whatever the data or the program that is given to the computer, that is going to store in the storage unit, and from the storage unit it is going to the it is going for the processing, and the processing will do where the processing is going to do in the central processing unit, that is CPU. So the data flows like this. You can see here from the outside world the data is going to the input unit, and from the input unit the data will flow to the storage unit, and from the storage unit the data will flow to the central processing unit, and there in the arithmetic logic unit the data will get processed. After the data will get processed, that will be converted into information. That information will go back to the storage unit. That means here we are going to store the information permanently. So from the central processing unit the data flows to the storage unit. There we will discuss further why the data is going to store in secondary storage. You just remember from there the information will flow from the arithmetic logic unit or central processing unit to the storage unit. Then further the information will flow from the secondary storage. If we don't need to store the information permanently, then we can give or we can send the information from the storage unit to the output unit. If we want to store the information permanently, then we can use this that means from the primary storage to the secondary storage. That we will discuss in our next class, why we need this secondary storage and primary storage, when we will be discussing on the functional units of a computer. So after that the information will go to the output unit. That means the information will be displayed in the computer monitor, or you can make a printout of the information. That information flows from the output unit to the outer world, that means to us. So these are the solid lines which gives us a basic idea how the data will flow from the outer world to the arithmetic logic unit, and after the conversion of the data to the information will flow from the CPU to the storage to the output and to the outer world. And what is about this dotted lines? So in these dotted lines, that is actually where? From the control unit. So what we have already discussed, that the control unit is responsible for the controlling of each and individual functions of the computer. So that's why what are the functional units here? Input unit, output unit, storage unit and the central processing unit. So that's why the dotted line are connected with the control unit from the input unit, from the storage unit, from the output unit and from the arithmetic logic unit. That what actually it means. So this is actually the basic organization of a computer system. So I hope now you are clear what is the function of the computer, What are the functional units of a computer? We have basically 5 functional units, that is input unit, that is responsible for the function that is inputting, the storage unit responsible for storing, the central processing unit or the processing unit responsible for the arithmetic logic unit and the control unit, and last one is our output unit, which is responsible for outputting. So these are the basic functions and the basic functional units of a computer. When we are going to integrate each and individual functional units in a proper manner, we can call the computer as a system. In our next class, we are going to discuss each and every functional units in briefly. We are going to discuss each and individual work of each and individual functional units. Till then, you just research on these things. Thank you. Have a great day.